Yeah. Well, obviously it was disappointing. I got injured the wrong time pre-season when the games started coming around, and I didn't really get many games in pre-season, but I've been involved the last 3 or 4 games and hopefully getting there to match sharpness now.
I suppose coming on the second half against Chelsea, was it vital that you maybe got those minutes against such a high quality team before Friday?
Yeah, definitely. I think it would have been a long week if I hadn't played, especially I think we had the cup game during the week, but that would have been my last involvement. So nice to get on, and obviously when I came on, I thought I'd done okay myself as well. So hopefully keep me in good stead come Friday.
Unlike other managers then who don't want their players going international duties, Tony Pulis happy for you to play at least one, if not two, of these games.
Yeah. Well, he said that before. Obviously we had a chat before the game last Saturday against Chelsea, and obviously he talked about the injury and missing out on games. So I think hopefully if I play these 2 games, I've come at the right time for myself.
With Kevin Andrews being injured, it looks almost certain you will play. How do you feel about Paul Green coming alongside you in international?
Yeah, well, like I said, if I am, great for myself and obviously for Paul, but I think we don't know the team yet. There's a few players who'll be fighting for Keith's spot, and hopefully, obviously whoever it is, hopefully they can do well, and as a team we can do well as well.
You played together against Algeria, I think, was it?
Yeah, we've played all the friendly games in the summer.
Glenn, Tony Pulis said last week that he felt that you were a bit tired at the moment, and that that was something that you needed to recover. Did you feel that tired in the early weeks of the season?
No, I wouldn't. I think tired's probably the wrong word. I think probably not much fit. Like I said, I missed out on the last 2 weeks of pre-season when the games were coming around, and I didn't play any games. And then obviously tried to rush back to be involved in the first game, which probably was in the long run wasn't the right thing to do. But no, I haven't felt the calf now, and I've been training, like I said, for the last 2-3 weeks, and I've been really good. So hopefully getting somewhere towards match sharpness.
Apart from the fact that you've not been playing, of course, why do you think it's not gone so well at the start of the season?
Well, I think obviously at the first 3 games, I think we're looking at the Wolves game and hoping to pick up some points. And on the day we weren't great and didn't deserve to pick anything up, and I think we were unlucky against Tottenham. And then obviously we're going to Stamford Bridge against the champions, and the last time we were there, if you don't remember, we got beaten 7-0, so there was a bit of pressure on us. But I think the last 2 games, especially in the Premier League, we've done really well, and hopefully we can keep improving and get the right results.
Still wondering how your shot didn't go in?
Yeah, well, obviously I've broke away. I think I've nicked the ball off one of their midfielders, and I think it was the highest player up the park for Stoke, so had to go, and unlucky for myself, an inch lower maybe, and I would have went in.
Glenn, what do you think are our chances now in this group? We went very close to qualifying for the World Cup. What do you think are our prospects of going one better this time?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're not going into any campaign thinking let's go for second. I think we're definitely going for top, and hopefully that's the case. We know we've got some tough places to go to, and we're going to have some hard games, but we just worry about ourselves and what we can do, and hopefully, like I said, we qualify and get there.
Kevin was saying earlier that he feels that the squad are in a better place now within themselves than they were going into the World Cup campaign. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, well, I think so. I think if you look 2 years ago, I think there was a few players coming on the scene and hadn't had many games internationally, but I think now quite a lot of us have picked up a fair few caps, and we've been through a campaign already, so hopefully that will help us, and we can just get through it.
And do you feel that yourself? You were a newcomer at the start of the World Cup campaign, but I think you probably knew at the time you were going to be very much involved. Do you feel yourself now a lot more comfortable going into this campaign with all that experience behind you? Yeah,
well, that's it. I think it's just having the experience, playing the games, big games, going to the foreign countries and playing in their stadiums and taking all that in and absorbing it, and that's been the case. So hopefully I'll hold myself and the lads who've played as well in good stead.
What sort of things do you think you learned? You talked about going to away games there, and what particular lessons do you feel you learned from that campaign?
No, I think it's just the experience, and I think we've been away and obviously got some big results for us, especially just thinking about the Italian game and getting a late result out there. It's just little things like that you remember, and hopefully you want to get them feelings again, and that's the case with this campaign.
How do you see the strength of Russia in this group then compared to Italy in the last group, then going on to play France, 2 or 3 in the Premier League that Pavlyuchenko Arshavin and the lad at Everton? How do you see it?
Yeah, well, obviously going to Russia, we know it's going to be very hard, but hopefully the Russians are thinking the same, and they have to come to Dublin. But we can't think about the Russians yet. It's Friday and then Tuesday,
But the
and then,
overall picture of the group, do you think it's fairly achievable you can finish above them?
yeah, well, yeah, definitely. Like I said, we want to top the group, so if we want to top it, then we have to do better than Russia, and that's the case. But it's not just the Russians. There's other teams in there who'll be thinking the same. But if we just worry about ourselves and make sure we're doing things right, then we won't have to worry about the other teams.
When it comes to these qualifiers, how much does the manager concentrate on what you can do technically and breaking up the opposition play, and how much does he focus on the opposition DVDs?
Yeah, well, obviously we've got obviously the staff will have them watched. They'll know the players and the players that we have to be careful of. But yeah, we'll come during the week. We'll work on our tactics and what we want to do and go from there. But
Is that your point of view from Ireland, or does he go through a lot of DVDs with opposition, or is he trying to ignore the oppositions?
no, I wouldn't say he'd do it a lot. He'd mainly pick out a few good things from the last couple of games or what the players have done, which obviously that's also standard out. But like I said, we need to worry about ourselves, and the manager mainly just worries about us and what we do. And it doesn't matter if we're playing Armenia or Russia. It's about the Republic of Ireland.
And when it comes to the team,
As you said earlier, you don't know whether it's going to be yourself, Paul, or who's going to play in midfield, but he's a player that maybe came to our attention only in the last few months or so. Can you tell us a little bit of what kind of player he is? Is he similar to you, or would you compliment him in styles?
Well, obviously I've played against Paul and I've crossed his path a few times, but I think obviously Paul's been waiting a long time to get a chance like this, and for himself, it's obviously great if he gets the nod. But Paul's a terrific player. I wouldn't say he's I'd say probably me and Keith are probably maybe a little bit more defensive minded than himself. But the manager has a way of playing, and if that's the case, then I think Paul will have to maybe change things, or if not, if he does really well, then the manager may have to change his mind on how he plays Paul. But if it's Paul or Darren, I'm sure everyone just wants to be doing their best if whatever two's in there.
Whoever plays on Friday, it's going to be a difficult venue, difficult conditions. It's going to be a lot of hard work involved, and you're going to need a full tank.
Yeah, definitely. It's not just this game. I think that's every game. Yeah, but I think for us, I think it's the first game. Go out there, get the right result, hopefully play really well, and gets this campaign going, and that's what we've set out for come Friday.
Glenn, as a player, how do you feel going into a new campaign? Is there excitement, nervousness? Is the adrenaline pumping? Like, is it, how do you feel before the start of a campaign?
Well, I think obviously because of what happened in the last campaign, everyone was just hoping for this one to come around as soon as possible, and it's here now. So hopefully with this being here, everyone forgets about what happened in France and in Paris. So yeah, we just, like I said, get off to the right start, do well, and then everyone forgets about what happened last year, and things go on from there.
how fit is Liam Lawrence then? Because I know he had a groin injury, was it? I saw him out at training there. Is he 100%?
Yeah, well, I think he's trained the last few days. Liam's looks after himself really well. He's a fit boy anyway. But yeah, I think obviously just himself, he just wants to get out and play games. With these two games, if he gets his chance himself, it'd be good for him to get 290 minutes under his belt.
And mentally, how's he coping? Because it looks as if he was going to leave now, possibly not. Portsmouth or situation there. How's he feeling 24 hours before the end of the deadline?
Yeah, well, you said it might be a long 24 hours for him. Anything could pop up, but now we're here now, we're in, and we're concentrating on Friday and doing things properly, so I don't think that's going to affect him at all.
How do you feel about another Irish international teammate, Mark Wilson, coming to join you, maybe Liam going the other way?
Yeah, well, obviously I think from reading reports there's possibly a couple of clubs after Mark, and hopefully we can get him, because he's a good player, and I'd rather be playing with him than against him on a Saturday, so hopefully that's the case.